Recently I got a comment that told me that I need to make my videos for complete beginners. Today I want to cover some production tips that will be extremely simple for beginners just getting into content creation. Let's start off with the first thing of resolution. You're watching a YouTube video, everybody's supposed to know this. You have your 360p, 480p, 720p, your 1080p, your 2K, and your 4K. Now these are the different resolutions. The higher you go in resolution, the more pixels they will use, and the bigger the dimension of the video that they will use, you or whatever you're filming will be shown at a higher quality. Fairly simple. Most smartphones now, they shoot 4K, but I know every single smartphone that everybody's out there using definitely shoots 1080p at least. 1080p is baseline for anybody who is in content creation. Now recently I actually did some research and I found that you should never upload 1080p to YouTube because YouTube has two different compression systems. I don't want to get too complicated with it, but every single time you upload a video to YouTube, they basically have to compress that video. When you shoot a video, there's a specific file size that your video gets. Maybe it's 7 megabytes or 1,000 megabytes or maybe some gigabytes, and then you upload your file size to YouTube and they will basically shrink that file size down so that it's more compatible to their servers, as well as they will reduce your quality of your video. I learned that whenever you upload in 1080p, there's a specific compression software that is used, but whenever you upload 2K or above, 2K, 4K, 8K, whatever amount of Ks, they will use a different type of compression system that will give you far superior quality than if you were even supposed to take your 1080p video and upscale it to 2K. You'll get a much better quality when that compression and conversion is done. Total beginners, if you have to shoot in 1080p, you go ahead. You're just getting started. This is not something that is extremely important, but I want to make sure to educate you and prepare you for the road ahead that may be moving on. Try and shoot in 4K or try your best and get a software like Adobe Media Encoder to upscale your videos to 2K without any major artificial intelligence coming in or whatever. The next thing that I want to talk about as it relates to just beginner camera settings is FPS. This is your frames per second. Now every single video is basically a series of pictures that is caught in a specific amount of time. Now your frame per second is basically the amount of pictures that is taken per second. Frames means pictures. In other words, the frame rates on phones can go from 24 to 30 FPS to 60 FPS when using regular video camera settings. Now the higher you go in frames per second, the more your motion in your videos will seem crispier and will have less motion blur. Just know that for frames per second, the higher you go, the cleaner your motion will be. The lower you go, the more motion blur that will be used. I recommend anybody should use a baseline of maybe 30 FPS, and if you can on your phone, you shoot on 60 FPS. You will definitely be in a good situation there. If you're using a regular phone camera, then you will be using your grid lines. I also think that this is something that is important to enable in your camera settings because this will allow you to have yourself framed properly. You don't have to be guessing whether something is in frame. It's best to put yourself in that center box. The next thing that I think that people should improve on or should know something about in social media is audio quality. Invest in a good mic. This is something that I heard a lot when I was just getting started, but I did not really understand the importance of quality audio. Now, again, all of what we just covered a while ago before was just all about your video quality. You want to make sure that your video quality is as high as possible for people to enjoy your video, as well as your perceived value that you're bringing to the table. The way in which you present yourself is going to impact the way in which people view your video and view your content. Whether they're going to be like, okay, this is way too low quality for me, I can't even hear the person, or I can't even see the person properly, and then they just leave and go somewhere else. You're making your productions as high a quality as possible. Now, the best way to improve your audio quality is to get a mic. Getting a mic will improve so many things in your audio quality because even if your capture is not as good as possible, then you will still have a lot of data to work with. You can give it to somebody on Fiverr or even maybe try out Audacity and look at a couple tutorials. You're able to clean up your audio a lot better and get a lot better results, sounding much crispier. People will connect more with your audio if it is clear. You're also able to add maybe some background audio to that in post-production and it will still sound very good. The dimensions of your voice as well will be captured at a higher degree. The amount of data that the microphone is able to pick up will be in a completely different league versus your smartphone mic if you just use that. It will also reduce the amount of background noise that it is taking up. Even if you capture some background noise, you're able to have a difference in that capture. You're able to isolate your voices better in post-production if you want to. Make sure that is something that you check out. Getting a mic, it will increase your production value a lot. Another cheap equipment that will increase your production value significantly is a tripod stand. Will allow you to obviously capture your video in a fixed setting. It will allow you to not be holding your phone so much and be able to set up your shot. That is a powerful capability to have. I don't know how to put it in much words. You can sit down and do your videos. You can stand up and do your video. Just basically have something holding the camera for you in the angle, in the orientation that you want it to be in, and then you're just on another side doing something else, whether it is talking to the camera or watching whatever you're filming in a fixed position. So it's one of the best, I think, beginner investments investments that you should do as a content creator, it is a tripod stand and a mic. The next thing that I would suggest for beginner content creators is to use your rear camera. Now, a lot of people love to flip their phones and use the front camera to record their videos because they want to see themselves. They want to set up that shot and they want to make sure that everything is right, their makeup is right, their hair is right, all that type of stuff. However, you are doing that, but you're sacrificing on quality. Your front camera will never be taking the same quality as your back camera. Back cameras on every single phone, unless it's a camera that flips around. And I don't think a lot of people have that, especially beginners coming into social media. I'm gonna assume that you have a regular phone. Always use your back camera. It is extremely important. A pro tip that is leading into the next point: setting up your shot. Your back camera will give you the best quality. It will give you a flash to use. It will give you so much more information. It will give you better depth of field, a much better capture if you use your rear camera. And if you are really serious about setting up your shot and making sure that you look good on camera, I suggest using a screen mirroring software that you can get online for very cheap. I know that investing in content creation in the beginning is pretty hard because most of us don't have a lot of money probably to invest, as well as you are just getting started. You don't know the return. You just want to get your reps in, so you don't want to spend too much money. I would suggest getting a screen mirroring software that will be mirroring the screen of your camera while you set up your shot. You put it on your tripod stand, you have your flash on, and you are basically looking at your screen and setting everything up, making sure that you're in frame, making sure that you look good, making sure that your lighting is right, and all of that jazz. It will simplify your production far easier instead of using your front camera and sacrificing quality. The next thing that I would suggest to beginners is to use less scripted content when you're in your productions. When you're filming, you want to come across professional. You want to make sure that people understand what you're saying. You don't want to ramble. And these are things that will lead you to sometimes think that, okay, let me write a script and maybe look at a teleprompter or these type of things. But the thing that is sacrificed here is the connection with the human being who's watching this video. You want to connect with people and make sure that they feel what you're saying on a human level. Think about it. If somebody was reading something to you, looking at you in your eyes, talking to you like a friend, I'm pretty sure you're going to listen more to the friend than you would listen to somebody who's reading something out of a book this entire time. It's something like that. I would suggest maybe if you are starting off, you start off maybe with scripted, and then as you go along, you try to remove as much of the script as possible and freestyle, go improv. A pro tip is to simply use bullet points, which is a great blend between the script and you just having charisma and talking to the camera. This is also something that takes some time to develop. There are even YouTubers who this is their job. They help people to basically be able to talk well on camera and be very comfortable doing so and not be awkward. Because talking on camera, obviously, it has tons of benefits. Basically, help you in your career, help you in public speaking. This is something that a lot of people struggle with. Talking to your camera will help a lot, but again, try your best to not be too scripted because that will take away a lot from your production value. The emotion behind what you're saying. Every single thing that we do as human beings, we need to have emotion ingrained into that thing. If there's no emotion, then it's almost as if it's cold. People don't really want to interact with it as much or love on it as much. That's just my experience. But again, charisma, really good, something that you should work on. And eye contact. You need to be looking at the camera. You want to look around sometimes because it's just like talking to your friend. But the key thing is to not be just looking on a paper the entire time. I think there's even a guy who does this online. He's obviously famous for it. But I just feel, come on, I would connect more with someone who is talking to the camera, talking to me, making me feel what they're saying and talking to me like a real person. Look around if you want to look around sometimes and just talk. It's just being real, being a friend to the camera. These are things that are very simple. They're extremely simple things. Again, I don't know if I got too complicated in certain aspects. Let me know down in the comments. I've been doing content creation now for years, almost a decade now. I don't know what is really extremely beginner stuff. So just let me know what was too complicated. I'll probably simplify in the comments. If it was something that is a huge topic, I'll obviously do a new video on it and I'll feature that comment in there. Just like I'm featuring the comment here that told me that I need to make things simpler. So yeah, thank you guys so much. Very simple steps, very simple steps. Let me know if it was too difficult. Let me know if any of these type of things are maybe too much to invest. Again, you have mics that are below $50. You have tripod stands that are below $50. Those are the two things that I suggested that you get, as well as the screen mirroring software. You could get that, you know what I mean? Yeah, you could get that, you know what I mean, for the free, you know what I mean? Just Google that, you know what I mean? Google that kind of video. But just know that there are ways to get screen mirroring softwares for free. Yeah, it's as simple as that. Just follow the steps, man. It's very simple stuff. Simple. Peace.